Greetings and welcome back to another exciting day here at the Fox Shop. Today we're going to start working on getting the valve covers off, and as you can see, there's a lot of crap in the way that's got to come off. Driver's side is actually going to be the easy side. The reason I'm doing this is valve covers are getting a little rusted down. Yeah, I think you can see that. They're just getting rusted, and I'm just afraid that they're not real thick and they're going to rust through. Going to happen, I don't know, but I'm going to put new ones on, new valve covers, new gaskets. In doing this, like I said, you have to take all this stuff off on top of it, of course, to get to it. You've also got to take the intake plenum off. That's this big chunk of stuff here. And there's I guess a lot of people like to call it a hidden bolt down underneath that is a little tricky to get out, and I'll show you how to do that as well. So doing the passenger side is going to be a little bit more difficult than the driver's side. And it's actually in a little bit better shape, not a whole lot, and also looks like it's been leaking over on this side. So this side definitely needs changed. I also want to paint this plenum. I want to paint it black to match the valve covers that I'm putting on. And the valve covers that I'm putting on are, I think I showed this in my previous video, but the valve covers that I'm putting on, in case you didn't see that one, are Ford Racing. And that's what they look like. Beautiful, huh? I really do think they're nice looking. And they're heavy duty. I mean, they're nice, thick. They're aluminum. It's thick. The valve covers that come on these trucks are pretty thin, just sheet metal basically, and these are a lot heavier than what come on it. And they say right in them, I don't know if you can see it or not, maybe this other one is easier to see. Doing stuff one-handed again, it's a little tricky. No, can't see it on that side either. But anyway, they say down inside there, right in there, it actually says made in CA, so California, and then it says USA after that, and on the box they say made in USA right there, which, if you're like me, you like to use everything you can that is made in the United States. And it seems like it's harder and harder to come by these days. I'm so tired of buying cheap Chinese crap that, yeah, it saves you a few pennies, and I understand the reason why companies do it. It saves them money when there's, in big quantities and so forth, but I'd rather pay a few extra dollars and get quality parts than, save a few dollars and have it not fit, not work right, not work very long, and have to keep replacing it. So anyway, if that's what all Ford Racing stuff is, which I think it is, yeah, I support their stuff. I actually have some Ford Racing plug wires on the way too, which are blue in color, so that'll snazz things up a little bit as well. I need to do a good cleaning. I need to replace that hose right there. That's the air conditioning line, which comes over here, blah blah blah, hooks into the compressor, and then it comes out and it ends up over here, and it is really getting rusted. And I found one down at the salvage yard the other day. It's one of your pick and pull type of places, but it was pretty cold out. It still had a charge to it, and it was starting to blow dye and shit everywhere, so I said screw it, and I just tightened it back up and left it, and think I might go get it next week or as soon as it warms up, if the truck's still there. If not, I'm sure I can find one somewhere. or you can buy one for like $50 or $60 online. So I don't know what I'm going to do on that. My compressor and my heater starts again. Yeah, it's got the thermostat all the way down on that. Got it up to about 60 in here, and it's a cold day in Iowa today. It was 10 degrees in here, and I don't know what the temperature outside is, but pretty cold. The sun's shining, the wind's not blowing, but it's pretty cold. Anyway, my compressor is shot as well, and I'm not going to pull one of those. I'm going to buy a new one of those here and get that on. But I do need a new hose line. I got a new fan shroud as well. Not new, I pulled it off of a truck. That was the reason I went there in the first place. It's the only one I could find down there that fits a dual core radiator, since they take different shrouds, and it has a crack in it. And I got some stuff, it's called plastic weld, to fix that with, and I'll see if that works. If not, then I'll just have to find another one, which probably won't be a problem, since it'll be probably a couple more months until I get this out, you know, on the road very much anyway. So not a big deal. But anyway, that's what I'm up to today. This might be a booger as well, getting this apart right here on the EGR valve. Don't know. But anyway, I'm going to get started on that. I probably should have been soaking all these bolts in penetrating oil for the last couple of days, and I haven't been, didn't really think about it. But there's a lot of crap that has to get out of the way, so I'm going to get busy, and I'll bring you back in when things get interesting, as they always do. Well, this really hasn't been too bad. I've been working on a little, I don't know, hour or so, I guess. There's what I'm down to. Basically what you have to do is you gotta, where the hell did I put it? You gotta take there's a bracket that's got the coil and stuff on it right there. It's held on with 3 nuts. I just put them all on this stud right there. There's one that goes there, one that goes there, one that goes there, and that mounts up. How do I even tell you? Well, it mounts back up there over the back of the valve cover. Once you get it in place, you'll see it. Anyway, I cleaned that all off as good as I could and blew everything off. I got all the bolts out. Bolts came out pretty easy. There's this one harness, this harness right here, and I just can't get that sucker unplugged. I don't really want to break it. It doesn't have to be taken out of there, but if you can get that unplugged, it'd be easier if you got this hose over there somewhere, that way. But I've got it held up with some zip ties up out of the way there, and then you can see this one here. That's part of it. It's like taped, and it sits back on top of the other side of the valve cover where the bolts are. And on each end, if I can even see one, on each end, I don't know if you can see that. See the end of that plastic? See the end of that? There's a hole in that. There's one up here on this end of it, wherever the hell it is. Anyway, and those fit down over. I've got these laid out. This is the way that they were on the truck. You can see these. And that hole in that plastic sits over this stud on each end. And there's a little metal disc, I don't know what you call them. And it slid down over the top of that stud to hold that harness in place. And it's not really threaded or anything. It's like a locking disc of some kind. But if you can grab onto it I got it with needle nose pliers, and if you can get it turning a little bit and then get a screwdriver in there. And the front one I got with a pair of channel locks, and I was able to, I don't know if I just got lucky or what, but I grabbed onto it and I just tore it off. The back one, I basically unscrewed with my fingers once I got it going. And then that that kind of flat looking, this harness that's all taped up that goes to your injectors and everything, can be lifted up out of the way so you can get access to the bolts and the valve cover. You could unplug all that stuff and get that harness completely up out of the way, but it's not really necessary, at least not yet anyway. So, and I've got all the bolts off, so that valve cover is ready to come off. So I'm gonna go over it one more time with compressed air and get everything out of there, and then I'm gonna take the valve cover off, and this side will be ready to put the new one on. So that's what I'll do, and I will show you what I've done here in just a few minutes. Well, that took about a minute. There's the valve cover, and there is the engine without a valve cover. Haven't really looked at it real close yet, but from here it looks pretty darn clean, as far as I can tell. So I need to get the gasket cleaned off of that. It came off real easy. I gave it one kind of medium whack with a rubber mallet, and it popped right off. So I'm not sure what it even has on there for a gasket. It doesn't look like much. But anyway, I'm going to get that cleaned up and get a gasket on there and get the new valve cover on there real quick here. So anyway, the old valve cover here, I guess it was actually not, it was okay. It wasn't going to rust through anytime soon, I guess, but rather ugly. Anyway, yeah, that would have been okay, I guess. There's LAK written on this for some reason. I don't know what that is. Whoops. Yeah, well, it looks like there used to be a stud right there of some kind. Huh. Anyway, well, I'm gonna clean that up in there and get that new valve cover on there. So, be right back. All right. So when you take the gasket off, that's what you end up with, right here. And to tell you the truth, I don't know what the hell it's made out of. I don't know if that's I guess it's metal. Yep. Probably used to have rubber on it, but not much anymore. Anyway, if you can get that started, it comes off pretty easy. I just used this little tiny screwdriver and got up underneath of it. Once you get lifted on it, it pulls right off all the way around. It looks like I might still have some rubber down on the bottom side there, but other than that, doesn't look like I got too much cleaning up to do. So anyway, I thought I'd just show you that. And by the way, the bolt size on those are 7/16, which, you know, I'm kind of jumping ahead here, but the bolts that came, no bolts come with the new valve covers, but the old bolts, I do not believe are going to be near thick enough. You got a pretty good lip on the valve cover there, where you're on the factory ones. I had my finger in the way again, didn't I? Factory ones, these things are, yeah, it's hard to tell. It's kind of folded up right there, but it's thin. So anyway, new ones are lighter than the old ones. I'm going to finish cleaning that up, get a valve cover on, and take a break. Also, I got Felpro gaskets. These Perma-Dry Plus, I highly recommend these. They got metal on the inside, and they're rubber. If you get these, look at them close. Right here, it says, I don't know if you can read it or not, but it says cover side. So put them on the right way. The other side doesn't say anything, but that's what goes on the engine, of course, if this is the cover side. Anyway, these gaskets are awesome. Don't put cork gaskets on there. Spend a few bucks, which I don't remember what these cost. I don't. They weren't terribly expensive. But those are real nice gaskets. I believe they're reusable, but I might be wrong on that. But they're not going to leak. So anyway, I highly recommend those. I'm getting back to work. Well, we got the one side on. That's not, wasn't that big of a deal really. I did run into a little time-consuming snag. I really need to put some, I'm going to put some headers on this. I might just put some shorty headers on it, I don't know. Anyway, when you're doing this, when you put those studs in, you just put them in by hand, and then, go over here. If you get these studs like I did, where the heck are they? Anyway, there's your stud. And you got a nut. Anyway, that's the end that goes down into the block. You got to put a nut. You got to put a nut on this end, and then another nut on top of it. Lock them together, and then tighten that stud down into the head. I don't have a torque spec for you. I didn't use one. I just snugged them up, not terribly tight, but just snug them up and call it good. Then as far as tightening then you take the nuts off, and then you put your valve cover on, and then you put another nut, the last nut, if you can see that. You should be able to see that. Yeah, there's one down there. Put those on. You gotta use all kinds of different lengths of extensions to get to stuff, and I couldn't get my big 1/2-inch torque wrench down in there to torque them. Being that these are pretty thick aluminum valve covers, and I did a little search on them before I did this too. You can probably torque them down pretty good, but the book says 10 foot-pounds, which is like a little past finger tight. But I snugged them all down. Just, you know, don't go cranking on them, just snug them, and that should do it for you. So now I'm going to get to work on actually, I took a break earlier. It's I don't know what the heck time it is. It's going on 5 or is it going on 6? It is 4:45, so I'll probably get started on this. See if I can get this plenum off and go from there. Been a little more time consuming than I thought it would be, just because I screwed up doing that. And your first time doing something, well, it's not my first time, but it's been a long time since I put valve covers on anything, and the last thing I put valve covers on didn't have anything in the way. So, in fact, I may have to soak some bolts overnight, like that one right there. May end up having to get a torch to get that off. I don't know. So I think I may throw this one up online and then just continue it, because I think I've got enough footage here to put a video up. But that's what she's going to look like. And then I got 4 racing wires coming for plugs that are blue, and then I am going to get some, I was going to get long tube headers, but I don't know. Haven't decided. I may just put shorty headers on it. So that'll make that down there look better. And that's that. So anyway, not a major job, but it's a little time consuming just because things are in the way, but nothing too terrible. So I think I may throw this one up online and then continue with taking the plenum and the other side off on another video. So thanks for watching. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and don't forget, on my home page, on my first page in YouTube, there's a support button there. If you have money just coming out of your pockets and you don't know what to do with it, you can donate $1 to $500. So if you want to help pay for some of this stuff, I would appreciate it. But anyway, thanks for watching. Well, I decided to work on this a little bit longer, and it did take a little while. I took the throttle body off, The little cover that was up on top of that. I mean, it's just all common. You just look at it, it's pretty straightforward how it comes apart. Hard part is getting the bolts out of the upper intake. I've got them all cracked loose. I've got the back one, the far back one, I got it out, and I've got that little Torx that's in the middle. I got that little bastard out too. And it's got a round head. It is actually a T40. I got it out with a T35. It was so full of crap, just oil and dirt and gunk and shit, I couldn't get anything down in it. And finally I tapped a T35 in it. It wasn't very tight, came right out. But when I took it out, I did fit it, and it is a T40 head on that. Don't lose it unless you can. I'm not sure what threads that are. Anyway, I suppose you could put a different bolt in there if you know what threads it is. I'm calling it quits for tonight. I've got the upper intake. Everything is taken apart. That's what the hell that was. No, that was connected to it. I've got all the bolts are cracked loose, and should be able to pull that off first thing in the morning. The only one I don't have off is this support bracket over here. This one right down here. I've got it loose too. Yeah. And did notice the coating on this intake. It's like flaking off right there. The heater takes off again. So I think it's a good idea to paint that sucker. I'm just going to shut that off. I'm done down here for today anyway. Must be getting colder out because the heater just isn't shutting off very often. It was supposed to snow today. I haven't really looked outside. Not snowing right now. Looks like it did a little bit though, but nothing too much. But anyway, so that's what I'm doing now. So I'm going to upload this for tonight, and then hit with a part 2 for getting that, pulling the plenum off. This other side valve cover doesn't look like. I think once you get that plenum off of there, I don't know. There shouldn't be too much stuff in the way, I don't think, and it should come off. The bolts on all these things have come off real good so far, especially after doing that timing cover for the water pump and so forth. Good Lord, that was a disaster, but these have all come out real easy. So it's not a real hard job, it's just a lot of crap in the way that you got to move. I can imagine what working on a 2015 would be like, but anyway, I'm going to call it quits for tonight, and I'll get going with this again tomorrow. There's that vacuum tree. I don't know, it's got rust on it, but it's not, it should be okay. That one's smushed. I bet I just did that too. Shit. So I could cut it off maybe. I don't know. I'd like to get a new one or go pull one or something. But because something's been leaking right down through there, and I'm not sure what or why or who or anything. I don't really know what is going on there, but something out of that fitting, one of the hoses or the tube that screws into the intake itself or something, something's leaking. Looks like oil to me. Not much, that's all it's done in 21 years, but anyway, here's the throttle body. I'm gonna clean it all up. Yeah, it's got some crap in it. Get that all cleaned up, and yeah, I put a new positioning sensor on this and something else. I think I replaced whatever that is. I think, well, that's the positioning sensor. I don't know. Anyway, well, I'm going to clean that all up. No, that's the positioning sensor. Hell, I don't know. Anyway, clean that all up and get it back on, and hopefully things run all right. If not, I'll be buying new parts. But so far so good, looking good. I mean, it doesn't look brand new, but I think if I get that intake painted black, leave the 5.0 EFI Ford, all the writing on top of that, I'm gonna leave that silver, paint it gloss black, and that's gonna look pretty sharp with the valve covers. And then blue plug wires, and I'm gonna I keep stepping on that. I'm not sure. I may redo the vacuum with blue stuff too, although most of the vacuum lines don't look bad, so I don't know. Anywho, that's it for now. I'm gonna throw this up and continue tomorrow. Thanks for watching.